in a Yankee shirt. All right, everybody. Hello, welcome to Word 3B simulation for Pearson, and I'm glad that you are here. So I'm going to take this step by step, select the first two paragraphs, and the newsletter title. I'm going to turn this light out so I am not so glowing in the dark. And what we want to do here is select the first two paragraphs. So you might think it's this and this first two paragraphs. It's really not. These are the first two paragraphs, and including the paragraph mark right over there. So on the mini toolbar, we want to change the font color. Now, there is no mini toolbar right now, so if you don't get it, you can right-click on it and choose that. So here's the mini toolbar, or you can go up top here and do it from there. Whatever is easiest for you. So we want to go to the font color button arrow, and we want to click on, under theme and color, we want to do the fifth column, the last color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that takes care of this. Now, he still looks black because it's selected, so don't let that in here. And then mini tool, then we want to change it to click the last color. So it does not look like I did it right. Let's go back and do it again because it did not move on. And it looks like I clicked the first color, even though I said last color. So let's click the last color. There we go. And so you can see it doesn't really look blue, but it is blue because it's selected, so it's a little bit hard. All right, so with the newsletter, title, volume, and all that stuff, and the date selected, we want to make a border in here, so that's really easy to do, and we want to change the color of it, and we want to make it kind of thick. So different ways to get to the border. So I'm going to click on the borders here, and I'm going to go down to borders and shading, and it takes me right to borders. So let's see what type of border it wants. It doesn't say anything about it, so we're going to go to, because it could be shadow or box or whatever is here. It doesn't give you a specific thing in here. So we're going to click at the bottom border on the Shading Borders tab. We're going to click the Color tab. And it wants me to click the fifth column, last color. Same one. Then the width, we're going to make it 3 points. And now notice, right now, if I were to click OK, nothing would happen. You can see that there's absolutely nothing there. So you want to make sure that you finish it up, but we want to click the bottom. So this is top, bottom, left, and right. So we'll click right here. And now you can see the bottom border. Once I click on OK, it should appear, which it did. Beginning at the paragraph that begins with Medical University, continues, which is this one here. We want to scroll to the lower portion of the document, and we want to find a paragraph mark that from the paragraph electronic medical records. So this is only one page. It's easy to do. So this is electronic medical records, and we want to, I'm holding the shift key down, and then I'm clicking here. Now, if you do not hold the shift key down when you click, what's going to happen, it'll just put the cursor right here. If you hold the shift key down, then click, it'll select everything in between. So from the layout tab, we want to make this 2 columns. Now, because we have it selected, only the text that we have selected will be 2 columns. So we're going to go to layout, and here's columns. Now, I highly recommend that instead of choosing 1, 2, 3, whatever it tells you, I highly recommend going to the more columns, because you can choose it here, but it lets you change the width. But more importantly, it allows you to put a line between if you want. Now, this is grayed out because we have it set at 1. So I'm going to click 2 here, and then I could put a line between. It's not telling me to, so I'm not going to do it. And you can see what it's going to actually look like. Once I click on OK, we're done. So with the 2 columns selected, we want to change the spacing after to 6 point. Now remember, that's only going to affect the actual paragraphs itself, not the lines between each sentence. So we're going to click on paragraph, and we're going to go to 6 point. Right now it's got 8 points, so I'm going to click the drop down arrow, it goes to 6, and we're good. With the format, it's still in here. Click the home tag, justify. Now, remember when you have justify on, it can present some problems. So when I finish the video of this, I'll go actually into Microsoft Word and show you what I'm talking about. But for right now, we're going to click on justify, which will give everything the left and right. So what it does is just add space between the words to make it so it appears even on each side. Near the bottom of the first paragraph, click the beginning of the line that begins Harvest Daylight. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make Harvest Daylight begin on the next column so we don't have to break it up. Very easy. So I'm going to click here, and all we're going to do is put a column break in. So column break is not on insert like you would think it would be. It does tell you to do the layout tab. So we're going to go to the layout tab, and now it doesn't want us to go in the page setup. We're talking about the page setup group. So if you click this here, you'll probably get a message that says this is not simulated or whatever it is. If you do, that's not a big deal. So we want to go to breaks here, and we want to do a column break. And boom. That took care of that. You can see Harvesting Daylight is on top. So I'm going to press Control N, and that's going to take me to the very end of the document. And did not seem to do that, so let me try that again. Actually, it did. I take it back. It's right there. So what we want to do now is we want to insert this picture, which is pretty easy. So I'm going to go to Insert and Picture. Now, because this is simulation, it's going to take you right to where you need to go. And then we're going to insert this symbol here. It will go down below it because it hasn't been formatted. So in this particular case, it's kind of in between over here. So with the image selected in the picture tools, we're going to go, so here's picture tools. We're going to change the height to 0.5. Now, notice that we have 0.53 and we have 0.55. So I'm going to click this here. And notice that it says lock aspect ratio. So when I change this to 0.5, you'll see the width also change. Why is that important? Because if you change the height, say like of a person, you're going to squish him down. So let's make this 0.5. I'm just going to delete this 3. And when I hit the Enter key, you'll see the width is going to change to 0.52, which it did up top here. On the picture tools, we want to wrap text. So I'm going to click here. And here is wrap text. Now, if this is a little bit challenging in here to find square, you can always go to see more. And here's text wrapping. And it's got everything spelled out for you. So here's square. Click on OK. And boom, takes care. So now we still have some issues. It's not lining up really the way we want it to. So it's going to be done in this step over here. So we're going to click on the arrange. Now, if you don't have arrange, make sure you're clicking on format over here. So what we want to do is we want to go to picture. And we want to go to more layout options. So we're kind of where we were before. So let's go to the horizontal alignment, which is right here. We're going to click on that. And what we want to do is to the right. And let's see, to the right alignment, we want to click on centered. So they're talking to the right. So it doesn't want right. So there's one thing that's a little bit challenging. And then relative to page. So we have page. So let's see what happens here. Click on OK. And something did not go right. So under the vertical, did I miss that? Under the vertical. So I missed the vertical. All right, so let's go to the vertical. And we want click bottom. And then we want it to be centered. Let's see, click bottom, click relative to the arrow. And here's the arrow and relative to margin. And click OK, and let's see what happens. There we go. We got it right. So now we're going to play around with this picture here, the recycle bin. We're actually going to take away all this black, and it's going to kind of make it look a little bit strange. Not to worry about it. So at the top of the document, select the recycling bin picture over here, and we're going to actually crop it. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete all this black over here, and then we're going to delete the rest of the black. You'll see that in the next step. So let's click on Format, and here is Crop. So I'm going to click on Crop. Now notice that there are no longer circles there. This is called cropping handles, and see the perpendicular in here. I'm dragging this to 5 inches, which is right here. And all you have to do is click anywhere outside and it will crop. If you change your mind, just hit Escape. If you already crop it, then you can always go to Undo, which is right here. It's not working in the simulation, but anything that you do, you make a mistake, you can undo it here and there. All right, so we have, let's see, select the bin pictures again in the size group in here under Scale. So we're going to click here, and we're going to Format, and it does tell us to make sure that the lock is there. And what we want to do here, instead of changing the height and width by inches, we're going to set it to 10%. So notice that you have 3.72, and that, so you'll see it should change to 0.37 and 0.95. I'm going to click on OK. And let's see what happened in here. Click to the left, tab wrapping. Okay, so we got to finish that. And we want to click Square. And it looks like I have to finish. Let's see. Under vertical alignment, we want to click ensure the alignment is set to top. So here's our position. So vertical alignment here. We want top and want relative to margin. Now we'll click on OK. And there we go. So now what we're going to do with the recycle bin selected in here, adjust group in here, color, we're going to set the transparency color. So all I have to do is click on right anywhere in the black, because that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to Format here, and here's our transparency. And notice our little options in here. So let's read it in here. So in the adjust script, click color, and we're going to set the transparency color here, and I'm going to click anywhere in the black here. You can see the little pencil in here. When I click on it, it'll disappear, and all you actually see is the recycle bin. Now I personally don't think it looks all that swift, but we're good anyway. So I'm going to press Control N. So remember, don't do this, the format in here, recolor and all that stuff, until you press Control N, because we need to get the recycle bin. So we're down here. I'm going to click on this over here, and I'm going to do recolor. I'm going to change it to blue accent 1. So let's go to Format, and here's color. So it tells me to click on the recycle picture in here in the picture choose, click on color, then under recolor, here's the recolor. Now you're looking for blue accent color 1, and you're putting your mouse over here, nothing's happened, and that's because we need to go all the way down here and find this one. You can see that none of these others actually work. This one seems to look like it did for a second, but anyway, so make a mental note that you want to go to the very bottom and choose this one here. And so you can see it now changed to that color. All right, we are 60% done. With the recycle bin selected, we're going to go to color corrections. Now this is a little bit challenging sometimes to find, so not a big deal. So what we want to do is we want to go to corrections, and what we want to do is under brightness and contrast, which is here, we want to find minus 40 brightness and 20. So you can see this is minus 40 and minus 40. If I go this way, now it's minus 20. So we don't want to go that way. We want to go down, go all the way down to the bottom. And there is minus 40 and plus 40. So we'll click on that. So that'll make it a little bit darker. And we're going to press Control Home to click on the recycle bin. So I'm clicking here, pressing Control Home. which takes me to the top. Tells me to click on the recycle bin. And what we want to do is we want to put a picture border. So again, we have to click on format. And notice that you have picture border here. So let's see what kind of border it wants. Under theme colors, we want the 4th column and the 1st color. So 1, 2, 3, 4. First color, let's see. So we have this here. And we want to click 1.5 for the thickness. And now we're going to rotate. Now, rotating is really easy, but I want to make a, I want to caution you about the rotating. If you have a picture that has text on it and you flip it, what's going to happen is the text is going to be flipped. So be very careful on here. So we want to click on rotate, and we're going to flip it horizontally so you can see it will actually flip. And that takes care of that. We are now have 4 left. We are getting close. Click on the screen clipping of the website, data, blah, blah, blah. So we'll click here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a picture border in here. So again, we need to click on format. So it tells us in the picture styles group, which is this, then we are going to put a border. Theme colors is the 2nd column, 1st color. So let's click here, and 2nd column, 1st color. In the 1st column, under screen clipping, select the subheading, recycle trash, and paragraph mark. So here is recycle trash and paragraph following. Click the selection from under the thing in here. So we want to select this right here. And then we want to right-click the selection under the shortcut menu, click font. So let's right-click it here and choose font. That gives you more options. And we're going to do small caps. Small caps are really neat. So I'm going to click on small caps here. And then we're going to make it bold. And then we want to make the font color the 5th column. Click the last color. So here's the font color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go all the way down here. And we're going to click on OK. And let's see what happens. So there is bold, and this is small caps. So basically what it does, it makes everything kind of like a capital letter, but the first letter is a little bit bigger. And that's kind of nice for headings. With the recycling trash sub is still selected, we want to click before up. So what we want to do is put a little bit of spacing up here. So we're going to go to paragraph, and we want before 12. Click on OK, and that's that. Number 11, we're going to go down to the end. So control end, which is here. And we want to delete the space that separates Emily Lynn from her job. So you're going, who would want to do that? So here is the space and the comma deleted. That looks kind of ugly now. But what we're going to do is we're going to put in a long dash. Yes, you can put in like a minus sign in here, but we're going to do it through symbols. So here you have to put in insert, and we're going to put in, we want to find symbols. So if you click on symbol, you're going to have to click on more symbols, but you can click on this here and choose more symbols. And what we need to make sure is we're doing special characters. So I'm going to click on a special character, and here's an EM dash and an EN. The difference between the two is, notice that this is a little bit wider. So we're going to click on an EM dash, and we're going to click on OK, and it should put a nice spot in here. So let's take a look and see what we got. And you can see it now. And we are almost down to the very end. So with the text selected, everything we can, and recycle picture in here. Now, if you can't find something, you can always click on Control F, or you can click up here and find. but it's not going to work in a simulation in here. So select a paragraph of the text that begins with everything that we can do. So that's this here. And let's see what we want. And the recycle picture. So that takes care of selecting everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Home tab, and in the paragraph group, we're going to click on Borders. And what it wants me to do is click on the color arrow, and it wants the 5th color, last column. So let's go 5th color, all the way down. And we want the width to be 1. And then we're going to do the shading. So this is what it looks like, will look like actually in here. So let me see if I missed anything. Under setting, click the color arrow. Borders and shading. Under setting, click shadow. So I missed shadow. And so where you can see what it looks like now. So always look at this, because that's how I knew I missed something, because there was nothing there. And I'm clicking shading now. And it wants me to click on the 5th column, 2nd color, which should be this. So you can see it's got a little light blue there. Click on OK. And with the state shield selected, we want to click on center. So that's easy to do. And delete the space, the E in Emily. So here is the E in Emily. Let's delete the space. And then I'm going to hit Shift Enter. Now the difference between Shift Enter and Enter is one just makes you go to the line, and the other one is going to just go and make a new paragraph. So I will show you that later when we actually get into Microsoft Word. So I'm hitting Shift Enter, and that is everything. Then I'm going to click on OK, and we are done.